Two college football player props here on PrizePicks for Saturday, September 9th. Before I get started, you guys check out the link in the description below. Sign up for our premium Discord, $9.30 per month. It's where I post all the plays here I'm making on PrizePicks. We also have other premium cappers in there that post all of their plays. Super positive community in there as well. We're almost at 200 premium members. So again, go ahead and check that out. It's like 31 cents per day. You hit one two-man power play, a $5 bet. We've already made your money back for the premium for that month. So again, check out that link in the description below. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not gambling advice. These are simply plays I'm personally looking at making. Hopefully give you guys some insight and analysis to then make your own player prop decisions here. Again, no one is pressing submit on those parlays other than yourselves. But let's get into it, you guys. College football is underway. Tough game yesterday, Thursday night football, NFL. Jahmyr Gibbs just did not get the touches. Pretty crazy. 2 for 2 on his targets. If you watched the NFL video yesterday, he caught both his targets for 18 yards. He averaged like 9 yards per catch. Just didn't really see the targets. They were hyping him up all offseason. I guess just new rule. Don't bet on rookies in their first game in the NFL. But let's get into it, you guys. Massive college football slate here on Saturday. I got 2 plays that I'm targeting, 2 free plays here. I'm going to give you all the research and analysis behind them. Both of these plays are going to be quarterback plays. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. So the first one's going to be, I gave this actually in my Discord last night at around 9 p.m., 8 p.m. I was honestly thinking it's going to bump, but it's still here at 259.5. Going Bo Nix over 259.5 passing yards on the over. So we take a look at quickly look at his last 5. Bo Nix is over this line in his 4 of his last 5 games. In week 1 of college football season, he did have a 287 against Portland State, so he cleared the over on this, and he did not even play the 4th quarter. He came out actually middle of the 3rd quarter in that matchup. We take a look here at this potential matchup, or actually this actual matchup between Oregon and Texas Tech, and it actually has the 2nd highest over-under on the slate at 69. We're looking at a 69 over-under here. But the thing about this one, the highest over-under on the day is Stanford USC, but USC is 29 point favorites in that matchup. You can see here Oregon, Texas Tech. 69 over under, but Oregon's only 6.5 point favorite. So we should see Bo Nix play the entire game, all 4 quarters in this matchup. And again, it's 2, I would say, pretty high-powered offenses, teams that love to throw the ball. I think even Bo Nix, he had like no rushing attempts in that game. Obviously, he didn't need to run the ball against Portland State. But in general, like he was definitely looking a lot more comfortable. Not that he didn't before, but he was looking super comfortable in the pocket, feeding his receivers. We take a look over on Outlier here, and again, there's a link in the description as well. You get a 7-day free trial with Outlier. Again, in my opinion, one of the best research tools in sports betting, and their mobile app, you guys, is absolutely elite. We take a look at Bo Nix and a half, and we just even go back to the full last season for Bo Nix. He cleared this line in 9 of 13 games. 9 of 13 games, he cleared this line here. And if we take actually a look at Bo Nix, like a little bit of a deeper dive in specific situations, right? Like I said, 287 pass yards and only 27 attempts. He only actually, I don't even know how many snaps he actually put in that game, but cleared the over on this in game 1 of this season. But if we go back to last year for Bo Nix, who, in my opinion, this year he has a little bit more weapons. 3 of his highest passing yard games all came on the road here. Oregon State, Cal, and Washington State. He had 327, 412, and 428. And he cleared this line pretty easily in a numerous amount of games. But what's interesting to me here is that we take a look at kind of the box score for that Portland State Oregon game. And I mean, Troy Franklin and Gary Bryant Jr. both cleared 7 receptions pretty easily, right? Against Portland State, obviously not a great team, but Bo Nix was able to spread the ball across the field, right? We have 6 different guys that had 3 receptions, and it's really looking like the offense at Oregon is looking to spread the ball across the field. So I definitely think this game has potential to be a shootout. Obviously, the books do as well with 69 over/under, 6.5 point spread here. Let's just take a look. He's going up against Texas Tech. Tyler Shue. We actually had Tyler Shue over in the Discord. We had his pass yards last week, and he smashed the over on it. He had 338 pass yards in week 1 in Wyoming, right, on the road. So we take a look at Shue. He's he's been a quarterback for a while, and he actually played at Oregon. And back in 2020 had 1,500 passing yards with Oregon back in 2020. He's been injured a ton, but when he does play, he can absolutely sling it. So I definitely think that puts him and Oregon and Texas Tech in a position to be in a shootout. We just look at last season, right, in Texas Tech's defense. This is some games last season, towards the end of the season as well. This is, let's just see. This is towards the end of the season. This is versus Oklahoma, Ole Miss, right? Some games, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, Dylan Gabriel in that game versus, like, there's some teams have a ton of continuity, some teams don't. Gabriel last year against Texas Tech towards the end of the season, obviously in a super high scoring game, which we could get here with Oregon and Texas Tech with a 69 over-under. Dylan Gabriel had 449 pass yards. And then we look at another game here, Texas Tech versus Ole Miss, who Jackson Dart, you wouldn't consider even the thrower of Dylan Gabriel or Bo Nix. He had 361 pass yards. And, I mean, this is looking at an over-under here of 67. So if we can get a 69 over-under, we can clear that with Oregon being 6.5-point favorites. I think no question Bo Nix would be in position clear this line of 259.5. I just think it's a little bit too low, and I definitely think by kickoff tomorrow at 4 p.m. Again, I'm in the West Coast. I definitely think this line has a pretty high chance of bumping. We just look at defense last year, team defense, pass yards per game. I mean, Texas Tech was pretty much middle of the pack in the Big 12 at 248.1, but given that Tyler Shough is now fully healthy, and he's going to be able to push the ball down the field for Texas Tech, I definitely think there'll be numerous opportunities for both these quarterbacks to really start slinging this football. So I like Bo Nix over 259.5 pass yards as the first play for this video. And the second play for this video, I'm looking at another pass yards prop, and it's going to be a quarterback, and it's going to be under. It's going to be Rocco Becht. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Rocco Becht, and I'm taking under 160.5 pass yards here against Iowa. So taking a look at this one, obviously the polar opposite of a 69 over-under. This over-under here has a 36.5. Super low. Like, I mean, these two teams just are classic Midwest ground and pound. Just, I mean, Iowa State's in the Big 12, Iowa's in the Big 10. But these teams just absolutely love to run the football. They don't really like to push the ball downfield, throw deep passes or anything like that. So let's just get into why I like this. I think this is a too high at 160.5, and I definitely think this line could bump down here for Rocco Becht. So like I said, 36.5 over under. This line is extreme. The over under is extremely low, right? Vegas not expecting a ton of scoring in this game. I mean, for a college football game, over under to be under 40 is pretty insane. But we look at here at Rocco Becht in game one, right? He's a freshman. He's a freshman. He went 10 for 13. He played pretty well. 10 for 13, 113 pass yards, and 2 touchdowns. He only made 13 pass attempts in his freshman debut. And we also saw another quarterback get a little bit of reps as well. I mean, J.J. Cole had 3 carries for 22 yards. He also went 4 for 5 for only 3 yards. So the quarterbacks combined through 18 pass attempts, and they only had 116 total pass yards, which, I mean, to me is pretty crazy. And then we look at who the quarterback that faced Iowa last week, who the team Rocco Becht is playing, Cooper Legas. He had 213 pass yards, so he obviously had more than 160.5, but he threw the ball 48 times. Now, 48 times. I can't see Rocco Becht throwing this ball more than 20 times in this matchup, given he only threw 13 in his debut. This is a rivalry game. Obviously, Iowa's going to be going after him, trying to rattle him a little bit. But 48 pass attempts, he only threw 213 yards against this Iowa defense. Iowa defense has just been known to be, have the ability to stop the ball in the air, to stop the pass. And it's a really, really tough matchup for a young quarterback like Rocco Becht, right? He is literally like not even really on books at all, like from across the board as far as season-long stats. We take a look at his bio at Iowa State, and this is not, I mean, this is a redshirt freshman, right? He's getting his first kind of minutes as a quarterback in the NFL, in the college football. And you can see here, I mean, he's played 29 snaps in the season finale against TCU, completing 7 for 13 for 65 yards. But even just in high school, he wasn't like a super, super prolific passer, right? We look at senior year, 1,800 yards. Junior year, 1,500 yards. Sophomore year, 1,900 yards, right? So in high school, like with these recruits, you see these guys throwing for 3,000, 4,000 pass yards as a high school players. He only threw for 1,800 pass yards as a senior. Now, I don't know the high school situation, things like that, but he doesn't even seem like a super prolific passer. And then we just take a look here, specifically Iowa. You can see here, Iowa, Big 10, pass defense last season. Iowa only gave up 173 pass yards per game in the Big 10, right? Big 10 just known for not pushing the ball downfield, super ground and pound, just classic Big 10 football. Iowa 173.8 pass yards per game, which was the third lowest in the Big Ten. And if we go to across the entire country, all the NCAA, we look at Iowa here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, ninth lowest amount of pass yards per game in college football. Ninth lowest pass yards per game in college football for the Iowa Buckeyes. We take a look at some other matchups, specifically for Iowa, their team schedule. I mean, obviously they're 1-0 this season, but some games last season, if these tabs will load for me, some games last season, specifically for Iowa against quarterbacks and how they've been able to kind of shut down quarterbacks. We look at J.J. McCarthy, right? Michigan quarterback. Obviously, Michigan super potent offense at the time. They were the 4th ranked team in the nation. He went 8. We look at another matchup here. I think this is going to be, again, my computer's moving slow today. This matchup here, Iowa versus Kentucky, right? Destin Wade threw the ball 30 times against Iowa last season in the Music City Bowl. So this is Iowa's most recent. He threw the ball 30 times. He only had 98 pass yards, averaged 3.3 yards per throw. Deuce Hogan backup, 2.7 yards per throw. And then we look at this exact matchup last season, Iowa State versus Iowa. Hunter Deckers, right, was pretty prolific quarterback at Iowa State. He threw the ball 38 times against Iowa last season. He only had 184 pass yards. He threw the ball 38 times, only 184 pass yards, averaging only 4.8 yards per throw. Right? So if Rocco Becht here, say he throws the ball 20 times, 4.8 yards per throw, it won't be enough here to clear 160.5. So I'm taking the under on this one. Again, let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about these two plays here. Also, drop a like. I'm dropping content like this every single day, you guys. Hit that subscribe button. And always, let's cash.